All right, we're recording now. So,
Mhm.
hey, Brennan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Optimistic.
So, with Brennan with NEPA CrossFit. So, what are some of the things that you would like people to know on how they can help you, or things that you're in need of, and you know what what things are you looking for right now?
So I mean, I'm going to step back away from the business for a second.
Hmm.
Uh, so like today we just got done, me and my daughter went around, nothing to do with the business, but I put out this campaign, Save Wilkes-Barre's small business restaurants. We collected about $1,400 from various people just donating. And what we did basically is today I went around to all the local restaurants, and I got gift cards from them. And what's going to happen is those gift cards are then being given to Field of Grace, run by Reverend Marcel Dotson. She's amazing. And they're basically going to be given back into the community, to the people who have been hit hardest by this. There's been a lot of people, and you can kind of see on social media and stuff like that, that like, they kept their jobs, they're working from home and stuff like that. And I think that it's like not one faction, but it's definitely one side of the puzzle where like, I have friends who are like, oh, it's so sucky. You have to work from home. And it's like, well, you have a job.
At
You
least
should
you
be
do.
really lucky because I know some of my clients, and then just some of my friends were some of the first ones fired. Like, they didn't wait to see how bad this was going to get. There's like, you're fired. And so those
Yeah.
people have been out of work almost 3 weeks now. And I have friends in the government version who they're so backed up on um, trying to get people into all the programs governmentally that they're being overwhelmed. I mean, I just saw a stat that it was some ridiculous number of people just applied for government assistance, um, and you're like, wow, like that's going to take a bit to sort through everything and get. So like there's a lot of people who it's not starting now, it started back a couple weeks ago for them, and they've had no income. And this, the coronavirus bill, I think one of the biggest misnomers that everyone, oh yeah, you'll be saved by the, like, that doesn't even start till Friday. I mean, it's April 1st, so that's
Mhm.
not going to start till April 3rd to even apply to. And so all these people are kind of in this weird 3 week gap. So what we were trying to do, me and some of the friends, is we got together and we wanted to give those people who were hit as hardest earliest
Mhm.
a chance to have some free food, have a little like leeway where it's like, hey, here's $100 of gift certificates to all these local restaurants. All you have to do is order. You don't have to do anything. But at the same time, get the money into the hands of the restaurants that are also being hit the hardest. I have a lot of clients who are also restaurant owners and bakery owners and that kind of stuff. And the takeout's great, and God bless that we can still do that. But at the same time, I don't think people realize the volume that they're not doing. I had one girl who, honestly, I'm not going to name names, but she cried today, and we were talking about it, and like she's seen nobody today. They've been open for 4 hours,
Mhm.
and she's like, no one's called, no one, because everyone. I think we're in this big section where people are, now that we have that 4 week gap we were just talking about before we started recording, like now that we know there's going to be a month, people are scared, and I think wallets are getting tighter and stuff like that. So like all of a sudden, like those business owners are about to get hit really hard, where for 2 weeks we could kind of get away with, like I just was talking about before, like personally I was trying to support them all every day, all day. Like it was like twice a day getting takeout, getting delivery, which for 2 weeks is sustainable. But then like, there's comes that point where it's like, hey, there's another month of this. You're like, ooh, I don't have that kind of funds. Like it's
Right.
great, but uh, so I think getting that money into the hands of the people who need it most was kind of a really important for me. Not even on my business side, but just on a personal side. And so within my gym, we've been having like a lot of big conversations of who's in need, who's not in need. Because the strange thing about my gym, it's a very big swath of economic stratospheres. We have some of the highest highs, and we have some people who, you know, work, very low paying jobs just to pay for their membership, and everyone loves it and stuff. And so it was really cool to see. Like I had one member who was like, hey, if you have any members, up to like 3 or 4 who can't pay when we get back, I'll pay for their membership for a couple months and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And so it was really cool to, within internally, like in these little cosmos, be able to help out people that we kind of know. And I think if people just stick, not in like a bigger way. I don't think we need to go huge. You know, everyone has that friend. Everyone has those people they know, or a friend of a friend who might be in need more than you. I think if we can do this on a very small scale and then you replicate it a bunch of times, I think we can do a lot more good than people I think we can. Like I just, on a lark, we started the Save Small Business thing. And within 2 days, we raised like $1,400. Like that was, to me, like, I had some big donations. I had some $250 donations. So it was really cool. And then I had a lot of $10 donations, and that, you know, you can see where it goes a long way. So just maybe like, and that's the other thing is like, if people are curious about like how to get involved, I'll probably do another one of these relatively soon. It'll be on our website and hopefully be passed around and stuff on our Facebook. But just on a microcosm, like being able to take a little of what you might have extra and just giving it to somebody else who might not, you know, necessarily want to say that they're in need and stuff. But this is hitting some of the people really hard. I mean, I've talked to some of my members in a very personal way, and then some friends of friends who, they're terrified right now. Like, you know, not just for, okay, well, you know, things might open back up. Will my job even be there if it does open back up? Like, there's some things I think are going to come back regardless. And then I think there's some things that, like, it's iffy. And so those people are the ones that, like, we really have to kind of, like, watch out for, help out, check in on, welfare checks, which I know sounds ridiculous, but, like, just having someone text you, call you, you know, email you, hey, how you doing? How's everything going? Are you okay? Like, I think that makes more of a difference than people understand, especially if enough people do it and you're getting this constant feedback loop. Me personally, I try to, I email my members probably like once every 3 days, once I have information. Yeah. And one of the things I do at the bottom of my email is I try to list all the good things that have happened since the last time I've talked to them. Things in the news that are positive, you know, things that are going fun. Just like trying to stay buoyant, because we're going to get through this. It's just, you know, we can be sad about it, or we can be a little more positive and try to be a little more proactive. And I think if someone's never given before, if someone's never helped someone truly before, I mean, like, you know, you help your friend move, that's one thing. But if your friend's really in need, and, you know, when you start seeing what you can do, that's a great feeling. And I know that sounds completely selfish, and it is in a way, but like, it's not a bad thing. But man, you can feel really good at a bad time just by helping out someone, or your neighbor who, you know, you might not even know that well. Go ask if that next door neighbor who's a little elderly, like, hey, do you want me to pick up groceries for you? Like, I know you might not want to do it. I can go do that for you. You're going anyway. And so it's nice to see, and I get a lot of feedback from my members, kind of this nice little feedback loop of they're doing good and then getting to hear about the good, and then they're passing on the good. And I think it's made like especially with my membership, a nice little cosmos of just like positivity. I don't see a whole lot of doomsayers or like a lot of really people getting down. I try to stay really connected with them as much as I can. So with our business, what we ended up trying to do, so I run a gym, for those who don't know. I run a gym, and it's a functional fitness gym. And so there's no machines. There's no, like, for the most part, there's no like Smith machine or whatever. So everything's like kettlebells, medicine balls, barbells. Our gym, just in plates, I gave every single one of my members who wanted. They drove in, and I packed a car with some stuff. And so we gave them basically little fitness goodie bags to hold them over, which was first, again, it was supposed to be 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then as it kind of has become like, hey, it's going to be a little longer, my gym is empty. And I mean like empty. We gave, in just plates and kettlebells, I gave away about 10,000 pounds.
Wow.
For people to have in their garage, for people to have, and, you know, for neighbors to be able to use together and stuff like this. And so I gave away 14 rowers, 7 bikes. Everything must go. It's like a blowout sale. It's not doing good in my gym. So I tried really hard to make sure that every member who supported my business over the last 10 years, can take something home and at least have an extra implement. Body weight's great, but it is nice to have a kettlebell, a med ball, a jump rope, some sit-up mats. And so then on top of that, we continued programming as if we never like lost a hitch. So if people go to our business Facebook page, we publish programming every day. And there's like little like nuances based on what kind of equipment you have. And then some people have like 8-pound gallon water jugs that they're using. And so what's ended up happening is we're putting this like prime, like basic thing out there. And then as the people, hey babe, so hold on, it's my beautiful daughter, hi Emerson. So as people tell me what equipment they have and what their needs are, I can kind of customize that. So like I have a backlog of emails that I need to get to today, but like, so after yesterday, I had 6 more clients come in real quick. They pulled in the garage, they didn't even get out of their car. I threw shit in the back of their car. They left. Now we have the ability to, okay, well, you have this. Well, here's a lifting program. Here's a specific workout program for you. And so they take the basic template, and then as they build on that, like, hey, I'd like to do this. Hey, I need a little more of this. I can customize it for them without the need to like really kind of go all out and just do like personal training. So it's worked really well. I've got a lot of good feedback. Some people have a lot of equipment that they've already bought at home. So they're on they're almost like now haven't skipped a beat. And I have some people who, grabbed a sit-up mat because they were newer. They grabbed a sit-up mat, a jump rope. And we've been doing a lot of body weight stuff with them so that when we do open back up, hopefully May, please be May, hopefully in May, a lot of these people haven't missed a beat. I have some my runners in my runner version of my community are posting all of their runs. They have a running program I built for them. Yeah, honey.
What did you have to buy any food?
I'll be up in a little bit. Okay. Can I finish this, please? Sorry. So we have a lot of members who aren't gonna miss a beat, and I can kind of get on them one-on-one. So I've had a lot of emails, a lot of texts, they basically have 24-hour access to me, where you ask me a question, my phone, I live and die on my phone, and I'll be able to get back to them and customize whatever they need for the time. So that way they don't feel like they're kind of lost. Because I think a bigger problem in the fitness world is if you just have a gym membership, what are you doing? Like, do you know? Like, what's programming? What's this? And so we're still giving all the guidance. We're still giving all the things. I've made some ridiculous videos that I hope never make it out onto the public sphere, where I just demo some stuff and I was just grabbing stuff that I had handy. I'm like, looks like this. But it allows our clientele to still feel connected because everyone's still doing the same workout every day. Mm-hmm. So there's still the sense of community, and you look on the comments, everyone's like, oh, that one was really hard. This was a good one. Like, and so people are still interacting almost as if we were still in the gym and they were just at a different class time. So on some levels, we haven't missed a beat. On some levels, all my clientele that are usually pretty socially active are still socially active, and they still have that common touching point where, hey, did you do a workout today? Oh, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Oh, tell me how it went. Like, I did it this way because I had this equipment. And so we haven't had a huge issue with people kind of being lost. I've had people who've gotten sad, and which is a bigger thing. I think a lot of people, and I'm not gonna lie to you, me included, from 2 weeks was like, okay, this is like the negaverse, and I'm just gonna check out for a little bit. And like, for me, if you just saw my daughter, I was just trying to make sure she was going to be okay mentally. Like, I just wanted her to think like everything was fine and not like make this like a big thing for her. Mm-hmm. So I basically just started, spending a lot more time with her and like whatever she wanted to do. We've been having fun and doing her school with her, so she felt supported through this. But now we're coming onto that time where, oh, it's going to be another 4 weeks. Like, daddy's got to get back on his regiment and stuff. So I built myself a lifting program based on what I have for equipment here. And I've been doing the same workouts that everyone has been doing online. And so now I'm kind of getting back into the swing of things, and being able to take part in that social atmosphere. Like, oh yeah, yesterday was pretty tough. Like, how'd you guys enjoy it? Do you guys need anything? So it's been pretty good as far as, and this has all been pro bono. Like, we didn't charge anything for this. We didn't charge anything to give everyone our equipment. Like, we didn't expect anything. If it was 1 month, it was 8 months, hopefully not that. But, this is just the way I view what my responsibility as a gym owner, but also as a, part of their lives is I wouldn't abandon them at the last second, especially when it's going to be the toughest. Because to be honest, I think this is the time that people need the most fitness. This is the time people need the most relaxation. We got together because I came to you to relax, you know?
Yeah.
I cannot wait to get back in the float tank and get a massage. Like, it's funny, like you start realizing these things that you've been doing, like, you know, every week, and that you get in these habits of, all of a sudden get taken away from you, and your stress level just starts building so quick. And so like, I think it's really important for people in general, even if you've never been doing fitness before, just go for long walks, just get out there. Like, one, get in the sunshine, vitamin D is amazing. Two, you know, you drive your significant other for some massages here and there. Just, especially shoulders, especially, I feel like my shoulders are up in my ears right now. Like, I've just been holding on to so much. And I think it's really important that people realize now, and I hope this kind of comes into, I think there's been a lot of, I say, negative things that have come into this, but at the same time, I hope this brings out awareness of all the things we do need as humans and do need as like social creatures. That people do need fitness in their lives. They do need nutrition in their lives. They do need to relax and take proactive steps. I can tell you, I'm so glad I came into the float tank like right before this happened, you know, and now I at least have that to kind of tide me over for a little bit, because I think people who didn't have that and don't know how are struggling a lot, where there's no outlets anymore. It's stay in your home or go to work if you're an essential, or stay in your home if you're not essential. And I think that's going to start wearing on people, and people need to realize, like, exercise and yoga and massages and all those things are so important. And you can do research on Google. I was just reading a really interesting article about just doing core work. You know, just doing core work is one of those things that like can really kind of link that mind-body connection and just let you help you let go of some things. Because I think on the end of this, we as a society are going to be at a very tight point where people are going to hopefully get back in the gym and realize, like, even if I've never been in a gym before, be like, this is what I've needed. This is where I need to be to feel good about myself. Because I know, like, again, for the last 2 weeks, I've eaten like crap. You know, I don't like feeling like that, but I thought that was all, it was going to be like a little vacation. But now it's like, hey, this is going to be for a couple months, you know, probably 2 months. Do you want to come out of this, you know, feeling good about yourself, feeling like you did all you could to at least come out on the other side at even? Because I think a lot of people are in the danger zone of, you know, just kind of wallowing in it and you're like, well, it's not going to matter. And then just kind of letting their nutrition go, letting their fitness go. 2 months is a long time. And I don't think people are like, 3 weeks is about the max before you start, like, your body's like, hey, if I'm not going to use this muscle, or I'm not going to, you know, use this heart and lungs, I'm just going to start getting rid of it. So just little maintenance here and there will do a huge thing for people to just be able to stay on task, stay where they can feel like they are, you know, doing something positive. And I think that's a huge thing that people like just need in their life. Just a little, I mean, very few people's work actually give them the sense of like accomplishment that they would hope for. I'm lucky in that respect. I love my job, love coaching, and it always gives me a sense of accomplishment. And now that I don't even have that, I find that like it's a very hard thing to like, I literally just sit around my house and like I clean my house again, but you know, there's not much to do. So just having those little like wickets of, all right, today I'm going to do a 20-minute workout. You know, if you're a beginner and you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, maybe it's just literally learning, like looking up some videos on YouTube. Oh, this is a basic squat. Just doing some squats, doing some sit-ups, doing some lunges, you know, walking outside in your backyard, just running around if you like can, you know, whatever you can do to just get started. And at the end of that, you're going to feel like, oh, I accomplished something. Because I think that mentally is as important as the physical, especially for a lot of people, is feeling that like, I did something important today. Even if it was just a little thing, those little things add up really quick, and people are going to need that. Otherwise, 2 months from now, you're just going to have this depressed sense of like, I did nothing, right? And you're going to be starting all over again. So we tried to run our business model backwards, where I was like, okay, let's imagine that this happens for a little bit longer. I want them to have everything. I want them to have every access to whatever they could need and want, mentally, socially, whatever. That was funny. So they basically have 24 access to me, my coaching staff. I kept my whole staff on pay or shut down, but I had made a decision when this first started to continue to pay my clients, or not my clients, I'm sorry, continue to pay my staff. My clients, I'm not going to lie to you, I cried this morning a bunch of my clients got together and paid for April, knowing that they weren't going to see me. Mm-hmm. But they have the equipment, they have us 24/7 access, they have, and we are a very tight community, we interact with them, and they're like, hey, charge my card anyway. I got enough of these emails that like it became emotional for me, and I was like, oh my God, like this is amazing, because they've basically saved us. Because going back to the government doesn't even open up till the 3rd for these programs, and I have the very sinking feeling that even if you apply, it's going to be a long lead time before you see your first paycheck. Mm-hmm. So in that time frame, I mean, we owe, I owe payroll for all my coaching staff because I wanted to keep them on. And so it was nice, and it was amazing for me to have so much of my community give back and be like, we love you, we love your staff. Like here's a bit to just keep going. So until you get that help that you need. So, I mean, I hate to say I feel like I'm going to be okay as a business, not because of anything I've done. I've done nothing, right? I've applied for some loans on the 3rd that are just kind of pending, but my clientele got together and all like just chipped in, and it's made a world of difference for me and my coaching staff. To know that we're probably, if this doesn't go through May, going to be okay on the other side of this. We're going to be open for business at some point, because I feel terrible. I know some of my friends' businesses are not going to be able to have that. They don't have that kind of clientele. They sell something, they have a thing. It's not a service. It's they sell things, and no one's buying that thing. Well, there's no money coming in. One of my best friends just opened his own business, I would say about a month or two ago. And I was just like, my heart goes out to him, because like, you literally couldn't have picked a worse time in the history, I would say the last 50 years, to open a brand new business. He said he had no one yesterday, literally no one. And he's like, I don't even know what to do right now. It's like, can you hold on for a little bit longer? And so like, again, trying to put clients like, hey, you guys got time? Like, do you need something? He can deliver it. Like, just trying to link those people up, I think, is really super important. So if you do have people in your lives that have something that someone else might want, just getting together, like almost like what you're doing with this podcast. Like, I think that's great. Just linking people up with people who are potentially in the, maybe not now, but in a little bit going to need their services, or just need to hear it's going to be okay. Or if you're a business that like might be struggling, I would love to hear from you too. Like, I'm trying to get everything I can, because I would love, when this opens up, for having the NEPA community, like, the greater Wilkes-Barre area, to be just fine. That would be my hope. And that's what I've been trying to strive for the last 2 weeks with some of my programs, and start like linking people up. Is I would love for this, when this happens, to have the least amount of effect on our community. I think some communities elsewhere are going to be really hard hit, but I think if we all get together and we all really strive, we can make sure that we're as less hit as possible. Because, I mean, we're going to take a hit. It's just how big a hit, I think, is going to be the real big difference on this. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, it's definitely, the area is a really tighter knit community too. And a lot of the community, we support each other. Mm-hmm. All the businesses can definitely help one another, and definitely, again, just easier to build the relationships, just because it is a smaller community. Mm-hmm. And we can help each other in different ways, even though we are some businesses are kind of competing businesses. But I mean, there's so much business for everybody out there. And your friend, what kind of business does he have that he just opened?
Oh, he's a mechanic. He's a car mechanic. Yeah. Yeah. So like right now, no one's leaving their house, no one's driving, so no one's thinking about the oil change they probably should have gotten right now. They're like, I'm gonna sit home. And so it's just one of those like horrible times. So like, when I get time, I'm gonna go have my tires changed out by him. Like I bought winter tires from him. Yeah. And I'm gonna get my tire. Like, so just like things you might not have needed, but it might help out. Definitely like go do that stuff. And then the thing I think that keeps me optimistic about this whole situation, and it literally has to do with you too, because I posted about you guys on this, and my members like, I can't wait for this to be over, because I'm going to spend so much money on all the things I have not had for the last few weeks. Mm-hmm. Like I said, massages, like, float tank, but then like haircuts and all this stuff. I can't wait to plan a vacation. Stuff like that. Like, I can't wait to leave the area. I love this area, don't get me wrong, but I can't wait to just be able to get in my car and go somewhere else for a little bit, and go camping or go do something else. And so I think a lot of people, everyone's kind of hunkered down. Everyone's like super tight right now. But I think once the gates are back open and we've kind of come to this consensus of like, okay, it's okay to leave your house now, I think the economy is going to bounce back pretty good, especially with a lot of like, I can't wait to go back to the movie theater. And I know that sounds silly, but I love the movies personally. And like Disney just released all their stuff on the TV. And I sat down and watched some with my daughter, and she looked over at me and she's like, this isn't the same. I was like, I know it's not the same. And so I think when this does open back up, a lot of those businesses are going to see a big, almost like a January 1st for gyms, almost like a parade day for some of the bars. Like I think it's going to be a summer of party if we can kind of get a hold of this. Everyone can kind of sit home and do what they're supposed to be doing. For now, I think a lot of the things are going to come back. And I think a lot of people are appreciating a lot of things they might not have appreciated before, like the little things in life. And I think we're going to be doing a lot more of it, like in the summertime and when this opens back up and everything like that. So I'm a eternal optimist. So I've always tried to be like, I can't wait for this to be over because, XYZ. I really think people are going to go out to eat more for a little bit. I think they are going to enjoy the things that they were taken away from them for 6 weeks. I don't think I want to watch TV ever again for about a year because I've watched everything I think I want to watch, and I'm just, God, I got 4 more weeks of this. Okay. So I hope people at the other end of this, if they're financially secure, if they're feeling good about themselves, take that government stimulus check that I know is coming for a lot of us, and just go spend it, because that's what it's there for. It's not put it in the bank and save it for retirement. It's literally to take it out. You're gonna get some money. I already know that. And I'm gonna spend every penny of that locally just to get that money back out in circulation. Because people don't understand. You go spend $50, you go to do this. It may not seem like a big deal to you, but if enough people do that at a business, that's how businesses run. And all of a sudden they're back on their feet. They can hire back employees. That we can start getting back to business as normal, but it's going to take everyone, when this gets done, getting back out there and really kind of go do all those things that you haven't been doing, and do it a lot, almost overboard it for a little bit until we come back to a sense of level playing field, I would say. Because that's the only way we're going to get through this and not lose a whole lot of the culture and a whole lot of the small business, small feel, that real tight knit. I mean, I think we don't have to lose a whole lot of it if we stay really close and we really make sure that the second we can, we do. Because I think that's the biggest thing that I mean, I've already told my clients that every penny I have, and especially that $1,200 check that's coming, that I'm not putting that in the bank. That's getting cash, and that's going back out in the community as fast as I can. Just because I think that's where I think it'll do the most good.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
And this time too, it's a good time to build good habits, like exercising and good eating habits. This is a crucial time because if you can do it for a couple weeks. Once you do it for 2 weeks, it's a habit. It's not something you're trying to do. It's kind of subliminal.
I've had a lot of people come to me or ask me, about nutrition and stuff like that. Nutrition really should be based on your body weight and your muscle content and stuff. But
the variables.
Yeah, there are variables. But you can kind of just do an in-house kind of estimate now. The thing that people don't understand, I just heard this great analogy this guy said about a leaky floor. It was this that you have a leak, and that's what, the water on the floor is your excess fat. You can keep cleaning up that floor, you can keep doing everything, but until you fix the leak, until you get your calories where they need to be, and you kind of fix your eating, that leak's going to continue, and you're just going to be always doing the retroactive. You're going to be doing the after the fact. Mm-hmm. If we could take the next 4 weeks and kind of and I started yesterday specifically, I sat down, made a shopping list, and I was like, okay, 2 weeks of vacation's over. What can I do while still helping those local businesses and eating out once or twice a week, and really kind of doing the things I was already doing, getting back to eating healthy, which is, getting enough protein, making sure my carbs, which carbs are not bad, but just making sure my carb source is viable and nutritious, and I'm staying in my limit, because that's the other thing I think has come on is this stress eating. Me and I would say one of the fittest human beings I've ever met in my life, like legitimately. Coach Sam is amazing. Her body fat percentage is super low. And when she says, oh my God, I'm stress eating, she's like one of the most, I was like, wow, this is everybody. This isn't just me, which I felt better about. Like everybody for the last 2 weeks, I think kind of let themselves get that like, oh, whatever. I'm going to drink a little more. I'm going to eat a little more. And I'm not going to worry about it. Well, now we're going to have to worry about it because everything we do now, when this is over, we have to deal with then. And so like, I think just people like going on and getting like, you don't even have to join a nutrition thing. Just go and do a little basic research on the macros, protein, carbs, and fat. Look at what a normal person would eat for this time frame and just try to be like, okay, that's not bad. I can do that. And you're going to have nights where you go off and you have a good time, just maybe zooming with your friends and going on some of these apps and stuff. But for the most part, like if 80% of the time you're doing the right thing, which isn't a whole lot. Like, I mean, I'm not asking for regimented, like, I know that's not going to happen, but 80%, that's a whole lot better than just jumping off the wagon and, dumping full fisted into it. So I think people need to step back, look at their eating habits right now. Like, okay, we're starting fresh today. What can I do so that when this is over, I'm not starting way past where I want, right? I mean, I get a lot of people that like, like when people have babies, there's nothing they can do. They're going to, gain a little weight. They're going to have a problem, and they want to lose that baby fat. Totally understandable. Like that's one of the things we do. But imagine you're not having a baby. You're going to have that same weight gain for a long time. So I can either start now and eat healthier and kind of just really kind of look at my general eating habits, or I can wait and it's going to be a much, much higher mountain than I'm going to have to scale. And so that's what I've been trying to like a lot in my clientele is like, hey, it's time to sit down, start thinking about like, what are you eating? What are you putting in your body? Is this necessary? Are you going to regret this in a month, 2 months? Like everything you do now, when we get back in that gym and start hitting it hard, is going to affect you. So let's just try to break even. Let's just try to, I don't see anyone gaining muscle mass and getting bit stronger right now because we don't have enough weights, in everyone's houses, but we can maintain. And that's a huge thing. Right now, people should be aiming for maintaining. I mean, some people, if you've never done fitness, you're going to be ahead of the curve as if when you hit the gym for the first time. But most people who've been to the gym, maintaining is where it's at right now. Like just not losing the muscle mass you have, not gaining body fat that you're going to have to lose anyway. So I really hope people take this time to, like you said, like self-reflect and be like, okay, time, fun time's over. 2 weeks of vacation's done. We know this is going to go longer than we thought originally. I need a game plan. There's all kinds of resources. My Fitness Pal, as much as I'm not a huge fan of that, is just a great resource to start at. I don't like it just because it bases off body weight and no other factor. But for most people, it'll at least give you a starting point. It'll at least give you that like initial like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, calorie wise. Like, ooh, I've been way over. Just tracking for a couple day macros, or just like having an inventory of like how much things are back and forth. Again, protein. I had one girl who emailed me and she told me her diet and there was 0 protein in it, which means the whole thing was carbs and fat. And I was like, that's going to be harder for you. Like, that's going to be so getting people in those habits now when, stress eating is going to happen. Or like I had last night, I had a pretty rough day, with the first coming up and bills due today. And I made myself the biggest salad I think I've ever made in my life. It was literally a punch bowl. So when I sat and binged eat, it was a salad. I made a Caesar salad, and I was like sitting there. I was like, I might be stress eating, but at least it's a healthy stress eat. At least I'm like eating mostly lettuce and some cucumbers with some chicken on it. Like, so I actually came out of that feeling pretty good about it. I was like, you know what? It may have been a stress eat session, but I was doing good decisions rather than. And the other thing people can do right now is don't buy crap. You only get to go to the grocery store once or twice a week now.
Right.
Don't buy crap, because then you can't get crap. It's not in your house. You're not going to eat it. Like, so just being able to kind of control a lot more than normal what's in your household, this would be a great time to start developing those patterns. Like you said, like 2 weeks of good eating habits will stay with you.
Absolutely. That and working out too. So
yes, 100%. 100%.
So definitely, I look forward to getting back into the gym with you, and, start kicking ass again. And, hopefully that half marathon in July
I was just gonna say, I feel bad for you because we were training for that half and stuff, and like all of a sudden, like all my runners, all of their races have been canceled.
yeah.
So people have been putting in so much work doing the running program, and a lot of them are still doing it, but now they're just trying to find that next race. In that, like the July Wilkes-Barre half race, it was just funny because everyone's like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I'm already signed up for like 3 or 4. That's like the last race standing right now. Like that's gonna be a wildly popular race. Like I'm running it still. Like I'm glad I signed up. But I think a lot of runners are going to go to that with this training that they've been doing for months. They might have lost their peak, but you can just kind of restart and go back. But yeah, I can't wait for people to get back. And I think also on that note, I think people just putting a goal out ahead of them would be a really, really keen thing to do right now. Be it a competition, a Spartan race, a running race, anything that gets you thinking of 2 months from now, 3 months from now. So every time you go to make that nutrition decision, you go to make that decision to, not work out in your basement, maybe go watch Netflix, you're like, I should probably train a little more. I should probably make a better decision now. That's one of the big things we always try to put our clientele is like, hey, get out and do something. What we do is great. I love what we do, but it's just practice for the real world. Go out and get into a race, go out and, do some fun things. And I think if people start looking in advance now and pick some races, pick your first 5K. Pick your first, whatever you want to do, and then just have it in your mind now. So every decision's based on this, like, well, I'm going to have to run that 5K in a couple months, or I'm going to have to do that Spartan race, or I'm going to have to do that CrossFit competition. Well, now all of a sudden you have that training like impetus to kind of like, okay, I need to be in better shape. Rather than with no goal, I mean, they've proven that with psychology. With no goal, it's much easier to give in. It's much easier to be like, well, might as well drink tonight because there's nothing better to do. Whereas if I do have that goal, you're like, maybe I'll just have, a beer and just watch a movie and go to bed early and, hit it hard in the morning and go running at 5 a.m. Great. You have something to look forward to. You have that goal. And if anyone ever needs help with that, like, again, like even members or non-members, like I'm pretty much available full time for whatever everyone wants.
Yeah.
Getting into the way we're running our business. So when this ends, we're going to hope for May. So let's say May.
Yeah,
I'm going to run a completely free month of May in my gym for anyone.
Awesome.
Anyone come and try it. Anyone come in and do it. Because what this community needs, what this world needs right now is to get a sense of community and get a sense of self-accomplishment back and get fit. Just general fitness. One of the stats, and this goes into one of the big stats coming out about the virus and stuff like that, is fitter people are dealing with this much better than unfit people. And that stat doesn't just go with this one. It goes with all of them. No study I've ever read, and I do a lot of research, has ever said like, people with extra body fat, people with, don't do cardio, don't do strength training, they don't do as well when catastrophe happens, So like just bulletproofing yourself for normal everyday function is like a huge thing. I'm not talking like getting model hot, like that's not my goal. I don't care about that.
Right.
I care about being able to play with my 5-year-old daughter and keep up and just having a level of health that I feel like will sustain me till I'm 70. I don't want to be in a jazzy when I'm 70. I want to be, I have a grandfather who still goes out and kayaks and canoes and he's 83. That's awesome. And that's what I aspire to. And people like the gym is not for, the gym. There are some people at the gym that look like models. I'm not gonna lie to you. But that's not the general people. I mean, I'll say that's the top 5%. And then there's this giant swath of 95% of my clientele, 95% of them, who are just there to be human, just there to be, part of a social club, feel like they're not alone when they work out because no one likes working out alone. Oh my God, it's so hard. And being able to have that kind of like, okay, I have a regimen, I have a routine. I go to this class, these are my people, great. So we're going to open it up to everybody. There's going to be a few stipulations as far as like, you're going to have to come to a prelim class with me first, just on a non-class day. But yeah, we're going to open this up to everybody and try to get everyone back into a sense of accomplishment and just doing something.
Yeah, and what I found for that initial class, you do that class with them. It's amazing because you teach people movements so they don't get hurt and get discouraged their first 2 days or first day working out and they overdo it. You got to teach the right forms just so you don't hurt yourself. And then the atmosphere in your gym, just how welcoming all the people in the gym are. It's amazing. They're going to come up to you, introduce themselves, how long you've been here. It's a really, really nice experience, and it definitely makes you feel welcome and not overwhelmed.
That's good. That's the hope, because again, I came from the military background, and I've been in some bad gyms before, gyms that didn't make you feel like the headphones on and like that you're in your own little world, which is great for if you're doing specific training. But I always wanted a place, like we built our gym from the client perspective rather than, so the way we even operate as a gym, with the open gym system and the way you guys can come and go and do your own training and then all the training's personalized to you guys. I want people to realize, like, again, CrossFit has a bad name for the general whole, like if you go on any forum or whatnot. Yeah, CrossFit's not a franchise. It's not McDonald's. CrossFit is this idea that we can just do things a little faster in combinations and get them done. So every CrossFit gym is completely unique in the way it runs and operates. I've been lucky enough to have some of the best staff I could ever possibly want. Coach Kyle, Coach Mike, Coach Sam, Coach Paige, like all these people over the years, like, who are the experts in their field, and this is what they do. We kind of got together and how do we make this the best thing we can? And so that the normal everyday person, or even someone back behind that who might not even feel like they're to that level, can come in and at least get to realize how to move well. Moving well, I think people underestimate how important that is. Just the squat. You remember what my squat speech was? Like, just being able to squat below parallel, not even to work out. That is a human function that needs to happen for hip mobility and strength and stuff like that. If you ever have to change a tire on your car and you have a hard time squatting, you're in a world of hurt already. We're talking basic human function. And I think one of the things that people underestimate, or they'll go on like Men's Health and they're like, oh, I'm going to do that workout. One, that workout's for someone who's advanced. Like, that's not the average human being's first workout. You might finish it, but the next 3 days are going to be god awful. You're just going to be so sore. Pacing, being able to take it the first few days and take it really easy, kind of have fun with it, like not make it so hard that people think, oh, I can't do this. Like, I truly believe, and this is my belief system, that I have not met one person that I have not been able to get something out of, right? That they really just couldn't do it. We had a guy who was in a cast for almost 3 months, came to the gym every day, came to class. We just modified for him. We have people with crazy injuries, crazy diseases. They still come in and they just do what's good for them. People who are like morbidly obese, people who have, diseases that, we have a girl whose insulin fluctuates so rapidly that she has a monitor stuck inside her. I've never been more proud of someone. She monitors herself. She's never quit. Not once has she ever been like, this is too hard. She just makes it to her level. And so again, teaching people that this isn't for the elite athlete, though this does help them. This is for, in my opinion, the way I run my gym, this is for the everyday person who just wants to be a part of a community that is, that's why we try not to use the word diet when we talk about it. We use the word nutrition, because that diets are for like I'm going to diet for this wedding and then you're going to be done with it. Like you're going to starve yourself to get to the end of the wedding and then be done. I want a lifetime of nutrition. I want from A to B, this to be your norm. Right. And then you might have times where you're like, whatever, I'm on vacation, or times that you have things, but nutrition is a lifelong thing. Diets are very short term. You're going to have a bad time at the end. Like people who like, well, I'm just not going to eat for 3 days. Like, that's great. That's going to work in a really weird way. But when you start eating again, it's actually going to go worse for you. Oh, okay. So again, getting people to think of just basic nutrition, just moving to move's sake. Like, even if you come into the gym and you spend 15 minutes just squatting a little bit, doing a few, push-ups on a box or something like that, that's huge. That's the first step. And then you start building on that. One of my favorite things about what I do is specifically is when a client comes up to me on the side and they're like, hey, remember when I couldn't do a push-up? And you're like, there was a time. They're like, dude, 2 years ago, I couldn't do a push-up. And now they're racking out, 20 in a row. but there's always that time. There's never there. Me, I was a overweight kid in high school. I never played. I did no sports. And it wasn't until college that one of my friends was like, you want to go to the gym? I was like, all right, I got nothing better to do. And I realized I loved it, but I was coming from being overweight, having absolutely no athletic background. And again, everyone starts from that point. Nobody I know, for the most part, it was like, oh, I've always been the world's best athlete. And you're like, okay, that's weird. We're all just normal people starting from zero. And that's how I've been trying to teach my classes. That's how I've been trying to teach people to move, so that they feel like they can do it. There's nothing impossible. We might have to scale it down. We might have to make it just for you. Because again, when we program for this wide swath of humanity. We have literally Coach Paige and Coach Sams. They are like world-class athletes. And then there's me. I am not a world-class athlete. I am Joe everybody, right? I like what I do, but I don't really, this is not my, this is a hobby for me as far as fitness. It is not my focus. I'm not making sponsorship money and stuff. I have a 5-year-old daughter. That's my focus. So when we program for that swath, we make sure that there's scaling and there's availability and there's viability that everybody can take part. And that everyone finishes about the same time and everyone feels like that was my 100%. And that's, I think, the key, because I could run a 5K and you could run 10 miles. And at the end, we might be dying just the same, just because I'm out of shape and you're a really good runner. And that's what we want to get that same feeling of, is that when we finish, everybody in a class or everybody at like a personal training session feels like their 100% was given, no matter what their effort looked like. I mean, there's been clients who, I had an Ironman client, which everyone's like, oh, they're the fittest. It depends what your definition of fitness is. He literally could only bend his knees about that degree, not even, he couldn't even hit 90 because his hips were so weak and his posterior chain was so weak. And so his endurance was unreal, but getting him to just squat down, and now he can squat basically butt to ankles, that was his 100%, right? I mean, I've never met a person who could go longer than him on anything.
Right.
But just getting him to push a little weight and be able to sit and get into positions that he could never get into before, that was his 100%. And so just getting everyone on the same page, I think, is my favorite part, and one of the things I've always strived to do. And that's why I think the day one program for us and the first 3 sessions for us is really important, where it's just me and you working one-on-one, or especially if we do the free month of May, it might be like me and like 5 people, but getting that individual attention where the intention is not to get fit. The intention is, hey, let me fix your squat, period. That's day one, fix your squat. And once we got all the squats good, we're like, okay, let's do a little workout, a little bit. All right, day 2, let's work on some, higher function stuff, movement patterns. And I think being able to do that with people is one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. And 2, like, I think it's what's necessary for people to feel comfortable in their own skin later on. Because one of the things I love about what I do, and especially about like my type of training and stuff like functional fitness, is I always have clients come up like, I don't think there's anything I can't do anymore. It's like, nope, you could literally do whatever you want. Like the Wilkes-Barre Half that's coming up in July. I have not run really that far in a very long time, but I signed up for it. Why? Because I know with my just baseline function, with a little bit of effort, I can get back in running shape. I have had a lot of clients who have not run more than 5K sign up for it, because I've convinced them and they believe that they can do it. And by God, they will do it. And they'll be fine doing it. And it's just getting that like little bit of confidence behind it. Like, oh man, I can do a Spartan race. I can do that, a cool obstacle course race, or that, like, the color runs and stuff. Like, are you going to win? No, we're never going to win. Like, we're generalists, not specialists. I don't want to win. I want to be able to go out and do whatever I want. I want to go camping, and at the same time, I want to be able to go rock climbing, and I want to be able to just do human things. And so that's our general like goal. I'm never going to make anyone the best of anything unless you really have the best work ethic and you are so single-minded. But I can make you really good at all things, right? I want you to be a human and be able to kind of be a generalist. So I really hope people take us up on the free month of May, or please be May. But just in general time, find a gym. Even if it's not my gym, go find a gym after this happens. And there's gonna be a horrible shameless plug, but don't find a Planet Fitness. Don't find a gym, or if you're gonna do that, find a trainer first. Get a little bit of workout behind you, figure out what you're gonna do for programming, and then go do it on your own. Because I think one of the biggest things that I get people coming to me for is like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 6 months and I don't feel like I've gotten anywhere. You're not an expert. Like I've spent the last 12 years of my life. This is all I do full time. I'm going to be able to have better ideas and shoot something out to you a lot quicker. You're not alone. You can find trainers. You can find these gyms that are like, have classes and stuff like that. Again, I don't care if it's mine. I would love to be, but I just want you going out and doing something where you feel like, one, you're being taught the proper mechanics, like we talked about. Like that is number one. Proper mechanics is everything. And then once you get the hang of it, you're free to go wherever you want and do whatever you want. But again, like I feel like I just don't want people to get out of this 6-week period, 8-week period. And be like, I'm going to do something, and then like, okay, what? I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing. Yes, I know that. Like, so again, go find a gym. Go find a trainer if you don't want to, don't go to like a functional fitness gym. Whatever it is, go find somebody who's duty expert has been this. Also, they've been out of work just as long as everybody else, because the first thing that went down was gyms. That was one of the trainers and gyms went down so fast. So a lot of these trainers, that's all that, I mean, they're coming in on hourly income. Man, that sucks. And depending how they took their payments, they might have not even been taking, maybe take cash, but like all of a sudden, like that the bottom fell out of that. And my biggest worry for me and my gym and just all gyms in general is the general trends to treat fitness and yoga and, things that I consider just basic human things. Like, oh, those are treats. Those are not really important. Like, I think they're as important as eating. I think they're as important as whatever job you think is super important, because I see more people come into the gym every day. And my 5:15 class is my favorite. 5:15 p.m. is my favorite class because of this. It is a bunch of people who've been sitting in an office all day, and it's like watching a bunch of little kids run around. It's so fun to watch. It's like grown adults are like, oh my God. And they just run around and have so much fun, and they're just talking, and everyone's so social, because we're not meant to sit in an office all day for 8 hours and then just be like, I'm going to go sit at home now. Like, get out and move. Like, right. Like that's, I think the biggest thing is like, I hope that everyone just gets out and moves after this and finds someone who can help them get out and move, and someone who can help them with nutrition. Like, again, there's all these companies to do this. Like, there's all these specialists. You don't have to do it alone. And those specialists are hurting right now. I mean, I know this, like, again, like I kept paying my staff, because that's my opinion, but I don't think a lot of the other gyms, the normal gyms, kept their staff on. I think they got fired. Well, that sucks, because that means they're either, that they're sitting home too right now, and they would love clientele when this is over. So again, I hope people get that little bit of like, and get into that, either through us or through somebody else. And I'll be very honest. People have texted me before, and I'm like, hey, you're too far from me. This is the gym you're looking for. You're like 40 minutes away. I had one girl who emailed me. It was like an hour away. She's like, oh, I heard good things about you. I was like, lady, I cannot in good faith take your money. Like, you have 2 gyms that you passed to get to me. I don't think you know about them. Here's their names. Here's their numbers. Go talk to them. They're good people. Oh, thank you so much. Like, go out and get somewhere. Find your niche.
Absolutely. Well, awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time with us today, Brennan.
Literally got nothing else to do. Got nothing else to do. School's been over for a few hours, so we've been good.
Yeah. Definitely look forward to getting to the gym, get my ass kicked with you guys again, and building towards the future. And if there's anything that you want us to help promote, like that May.
Yeah, I'll be putting out another. Once we see, because hopefully this week, once everyone starts applying for the business loans, I'm thinking next week we're going to start our next giant push to see who's hurting again, see who even got, like, who's able to make it, and then we'll be able to start going. Field of Grace Mission Center is who we use as a nonprofit to distribute. Reverend Marcel Dotson, if you look her up, she's a great resource for people if you're looking to give. Again, if you're looking to give and help out your community, ask your friends and neighbors first. But then if you can't find someone, I can find someone for you very quickly. I can put you in the right direction. There's so many people right now who could use just a little, and it'll mean a world to them. So again, if you are in need, contact someone. If you are someone who can give, contact someone. Don't just sit there on the sidelines. Get involved, because this is the time. Like, you're going to meet some great people, like, and you're going to meet some people who are going to surprise you. Because that's the one thing I will say about this whole thing is I've been overwhelmed by the positive human experience of the people that I've dealt with, of how giving they are and how amazing they are. And I think if you're not involved in that process, you're missing out, because man, some people, like, I just make me want to cry. They give so much, and you're like, you don't have that much to start. Like, don't worry about it. You know, this is a really important time. Like, that's the kind of spirit I think people can go out right now, find someone to give to, find someone to help out. You know, even if it's not financially, even if it's just like doing little things around the house for them or something like that, or like mowing the lawn because they don't want to go outside. Great. Do what you can in your very tiny community. And if you can't find anything there, just start moving out. We can all take care of each other.
Awesome. Definitely.
Awesome.
Good advice. So we'll have an appointment for you the first day we open. We'll have a float tank.
You tell me, I'll be there with bells on. Can't wait for the massage and the float tank. I've really been daydreaming about it. So yeah, that sounds great.
We'll get you a massage, then you float, and then you're going to be.
And I literally cannot wait. Cannot wait.
Well, once we know we'll open, we'll book your appointment and get you in
Hopefully soon. Soon.
We'll cross the fingers. Well, Brennan, it was amazing talking to you today. I appreciate
talking to you, man. Hopefully see you very, very soon.
I'm looking forward to it.
Bye.